Okay, Amy, my lovely sister, you're joining me in Portugal for the first episode of the Passionate Pursuit podcast. Really excited for you to be here. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be your first guest. I am fantastic. How are you?
Doing fantastic. So we're out in Portugal at the minute. So tell us a bit, where you've been living recently?
Well, I was actually living in Portugal last year. I lived here for 8 months and then I moved to Barcelona and I've been setting up my camp there for 5 months. And now I'm currently back in Portugal for 2 weeks before I head off to Thailand. So I head off to Thailand in around 5 days, which is very exciting.
Excited, yeah?
Yeah, I have absolutely no plans on where I'm going. So the amount of people who've asked me is like, well, where are you staying? Like, where are you going? I'm like, guys, I'm just going to go with the flow, see where my heart is and just, you know, if I love an island or something, I'll stay there.
Yeah,
I have
cool.
no plan.
Well, where are you flying into?
I'm flying into Bangkok.
Okay.
And I'm there for 7 days. And every time I say this to people, they're like, 7 days is way too much.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to cut that 7 days short and move up to Chiang Mai for a few days because apparently that's a massive digital nomad.
Yeah.
You know yourself, there's a lot of SEO people there and a lot of expats. I've been told it's a great city and very nature as well. There's a lot of nature, mountains, greenery. So I'm going to see there, go up there, check it out. If I like it, the accommodation, everything, you can live like an absolute queen on 500, 600 euros a month. It is crazy.
Well, we were there, 2 or 3 years ago. We went to Bangkok and then we went to Hua Hin, wasn't it? Was that 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago.
It was absolutely gorgeous, absolutely loved it. But we flew there we were living in Sydney at the time and then flew to meet the fam in Hua Hin. But that was a holiday of dreams, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know a lot of people recently that have been migrating to Thailand. You can live on like £1,000 a month like a king. You can rent scooters, you can eat out all the time, acai bowls, freaking steaks, everything, gyms, everything for a really cheap price. So I think it's the way to go, especially with everything going crazy right now with prices and stuff in the UK and in the West.
I'm mostly excited for the street food to be able to walk and
you love
just
food. You're a foodie.
I am such a foodie and everything, like I just love different varieties of food as well. So when I'm like, they're gonna love me because I'm literally gonna go from street to street to corner and just be like, oh, okay, this is a different type of food. So chicken fried rice, chicken satay.
Do you know anybody out there?
So I know a few people are coming later this year because I know Affiliate World, is happening in Bangkok in November, and I was at Affiliate World in Barcelona and it was amazing, just to network with people, to meet different people, like-minded people, and surround yourself with these individuals. And I definitely want to go back to the one in Bangkok. Not sure if I'll be there in Bangkok at that time, but I'll maybe fly in. So I have a few friends flying in over there. I have mostly a lot of friends in Bali, so I am planning to go to Bali now the end of this year.
Yeah, I think you would suit Bali a lot.
Yeah. So that was my original plan, but then I thought, you know what, let's try Thailand first. It's kind of everybody is saying now Bali's a bit now too, it's like full of influencers and a bit too much of the wannabe if you kind of know what I mean. So I think Thailand is a bit more real and it's not there yet in the terms of Bali. And also Thailand, it runs on tourism, and it literally I seen videos on YouTube with islands completely, like the shops, the restaurants, the bars all closed down. And this guy he'd lived in Thailand for 5 years and he was videoing it, and he was like, this was just open like 6 months ago and now it's completely shut down. And in Koh Phangan, the island that I want to visit,
it always sounds like you're talking gibberish when you try to pronounce some of these places.
I've said Copenhagen many times to people and they're like, you're going to Copenhagen in Denmark, and I was like, no.
You called it Copenhagen originally, I think.
I did, because I didn't know the actual pronunciation of it. But yeah, no, I'm super excited for this journey to Thailand, and I love sometimes being so spontaneous, and I know we'll talk about it more in this podcast, but the fact that I can like work on my laptop, and that kind of feels like home in a way, that because I always know that that's something that I always have to work on, as well as with my laptop and working, that I never really feel alone because I have my business and it's like my baby. So I guess I'm like traveling around the world with it.
It's one of the biggest luxuries of being a digital nomad or having an online business is the fact, like I was living in Barcelona for 8 months, then I was living in Portugal, then I went to Manchester for business reasons. I think my time's up there. So now I'm going to Tenerife and I'm paying 75% less in rent from moving to Tenerife than I am in Manchester currently, and that's right now with like energy bills and stuff going through the roof, which is madness. But with the added benefit of moving to Tenerife, I've got sun during the winter. I think it's like the average degrees in December, something like 23 degrees. The lowest average temperature is 18 degrees. But yeah, the luxury of just having a laptop, being able to go anywhere as long as there's Wi-Fi, as long as there's stuff. And I don't know about you, but I've said to Craig and stuff over the last few months that I get so motivated working where people go on holidays. I don't know if it's like the buzz of just like, you know, that you're getting work done and other people are on holidays or what it is, but there's something fantastic. But yeah, look, introduce yourself. So you're 23 years old.
22.
You're 22 years old. That's pretty bad being your brother.
I just turned 22 2 months
22.
ago.
And tell us a bit. You've got a fantastic business. Tell us what is it you do?
Yeah, so I basically have an e-commerce store, and it's a nutritional supplement store, and we basically specialize in. We only have 3 complexes at the minute.
What's it called?
It's called Earth Secret. I was getting to that. It's called Earth Secret because it's the secret of the earth.
Okay.
And they specialize on a lot of issues that modern life kind of has right now. So many people are stressed, anxious, need help with energy, fatigueness, and sleep. So we sell 3 complexes called Calm, Thrive, and Sleep. And they contain 5 botanicals, all 100% natural, and they all may have one main pillar ingredient, which basically is created by nature, but it's proven by science. It uses the most potent bioavailable form of this ingredient, and it makes it so much more bioavailable and effective in our bodies. So it's really just helping us like just feel okay, feel a lot less breeze, and just help us through modern life. Their capsules and their supplements, and I know the supplement industry has grown so much over the pandemic because people are becoming more aware of what they put in their bodies,
100%.
all about health and wellness. And then I think supplements, because the term supplement actually means something to help you through your life. It's something to supplement, like when you like to supplement your life, so to say. And I think with nutrition and stuff, we have all these like known things about protein, carbohydrates, and fats. And I studied nutrition and food science, and I was shocked that nothing was talked about natural ingredients like passion flower.
We were in the same class.
We were in the same class, which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But all these like powerful herbs, and nobody spoke about them. So I did my individual research, and I was actually shocked. I was like, holy, what? All these like not even short-term effects, what we present with our secrets, saying, hey, you take this, it'll help you sleep better. But the long-term effects that we're actually giving to our bodies, the long-term effects of ashwagandha being able to inhibit the cancer cells and actually decreasing some cancer cells, stuff that we can't actually talk about on our website or anything, which I kind of wish I could tell the customers, be like, you are actually doing so much like beneficial stuff for your body, brain, and just your overall life.
Yeah. Well, I think especially nutrition, well-being, fitness, supplementation. One thing that I learned from a guy from Sam Ovens, I don't know if you know who it is, but it's all about second-order consequences. So his example is if you buy a big TV and have a Netflix subscription, that's the first order consequence. The second order consequence is productivity going down, becoming lazy, binging Netflix series all the time. But I think, and this is what I say to some people about our secret, is okay, you might not think that like you need that much help with sleep, but that's the first consequence, is getting our secret sleep, helping with sleep. But do you know how many domino effects that has on, if you get your sleep right, you're more productive, your communications go, like just your brain's wired in a completely different way, you feel better, you want to do more, you want to hug more people, like it's just got so many more consequences than just that. So I think I think it's such a lethal industry, and I love hearing all about it all the time. But okay, more about you then. What got you into health and fitness? Because obviously from a business standpoint, if you look back and you're like, okay, I want to start a business in the supplement industry, you would stand back and be like, okay, that's a saturated market and that's hard to get in.
Yeah.
So obviously you would have to have a complete driven passion to get into it. So let's go back to you, maybe in your upbringing or through school. Do you remember any bits and bobs that were like, okay, that's the creative thing, that's where I wanted to go, I always wanted to start a business and that's the passion I wanted to go?
Yeah, so I mean, you know yourself, our family has always been massive into different health and wellness trends. Like our mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2004, and I mean, all through our lives, our mom had breast cancer. So we were kind of shown the pharmaceutical way of, you know, chemotherapy and stuff, and then we had the alternative.
All the nasty stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the nasty stuff. And then we seen the alternatives where my mom, we would have wheatgrass growing in our garage.
I remember we'd be in the kitchen watching TV or something, and next thing you would just smell the beetroot and the wheatgrass come from the utility room. We had this massive juicer, and it would, the smell of it, and Mum would always make me and you a shot just to take as well.
Yeah. And then sometimes if we were very unlucky, she would make us clean the juicer, and to this day it's the hardest.
Like half an hour because of all the strains and
the pulp
stuff.
And no, wouldn't be my favorite thing. But it showed us like the natural way of that there is an alternative to the pharmaceuticals, and that these beautiful herbs and everything. So that was really my introduction. My mom showed me so many like potential benefits of these ingredients, of different things that she would put in the blender, and she would, like you said, she would offer it to me and you, and we started like reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, turmeric, all this stuff. And so like you said, with the shots, then, you know, different things put in the blender. And I remember reishi mushroom, ashwagandha, turmeric, all this stuff was put in. We used to call it Mom's Miracle Smoothie, because you'd go to school and you would feel just energized, and you would feel just like we were always so into sports.
Maybe I felt sick for hours. Now I can do juices and stuff, but back then when I was like 13, 14, just like a little boy, like those used to be stinky.
You never really into vegetables when you were young age, to be fair, but I really liked them. And so as I got older, I started to look at what made my mum kind of have more energy, made my mum have more vitality. And it was just shocking to me as I got older, and sadly our mum passed away in 2016, but to look at her journey and actually step back for a second and be like, okay, what actually helped my mum, you know, in that way. So that was that. And then obviously me and you, we used to wake up in third, fourth year, wake up at 5 a.m, go to the gym, start these new programs. You would train yourself, I would train myself. And like, it's crazy, because I remember I'd go into school and my friends would be like, you went to the gym this morning, didn't you? Because I put on my Snapchat story, of course. And I was like, they were like, you're crazy, like you're 40, all this stuff. I was like, no, I feel so great doing it. And I started Insanity, and our dad started doing Insanity and all this stuff. So I really, really enjoyed health and fitness. It was just something that maybe was like a little bit of an escape as well. Like fitness is... For some people, they love therapy, they like all this stuff, but I found like fitness and going to the gym and just training, and you kind of escape all modern life for a bit, and you go away and you push yourself hard, and you come out and you're like, wow, I'm so happy that I did that. I love the after school thing where they do the pain and the pleasure, like the short-term pain is long-term pleasure. And I constantly look back at that, the fitness, especially you as well, like you do some crazy training, and it's like you go in, you push yourself like to the limit, to what your body can do, whatever, and then after you come out, you're like, wow, this is
well, that's one thing. I actually said this to my roommates maybe last week. I think we were dealt the nice cards, because I've got so many friends that are like, oh, I'm going to the gym, or no, sorry, they're like, oh, I have to go to the gym, and then like it's like not a nice thing, like it kind of sounds like cringy, but we're addicted to the gym, and most of my friends, real close friends, are addicted to the gym. Like we go to the gym just for, obviously we want to like make progression and stuff in terms of like fitness, bodies and all that, but like in terms of like feeling better, there is no better feeling than getting up early on a Saturday morning, going to the gym, and then just smashing the rest of the day. I absolutely love it.
Exactly. So that's kind of my introduction. Like I was always into all those things, and then I traveled Australia for a few years, and did the partying, did that stuff, and came back, and I realized I was like, okay, this isn't really, I don't really feel not happy. I just like COVID just happened, and I was like, okay, now what do I do? Really, my friends are at university. I'm 20 years old. I'm like, I was like, I have no direction really. All I know is what I'm good at, and I didn't know what I could potentially monetize. I didn't know what I could make a business of, but I knew deep down that I had a passion for helping people and a passion for sharing knowledge of the things I already know. So then we went to Aruba in August, and it was incredible, and it was a bit of a light bulb moment. I had like some type of knowing that came over me, and I remember going back to my bedroom and I wrote a graph, and I was like, okay, this is when you discover what's ikigai,
Yeah.
which is your reason for being,
Purpose
and
for living.
yeah, your purpose of the reason for being, and it's what I was good at, what I'm passionate about, what I can help others about, and what I can make a business out of. And it was very funny because the first one that I got was life coach, and I was like, Amy, you cannot be a 20-year-old life coach. Nobody is gonna hire you for it. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a little step down.
I'm pretty sure I remember you telling me about
Yeah.
that as well, and I was like, what? Who's going to take advice from a 20-year-old who like?
It doesn't. Yeah, I have no idea. But it was just like, okay, why is this coming up? And then the next thing was like nutrition, and I was like, okay, yeah, what do I actually take on the daily? What is something my family has taught me? What is something that I've done independent research that I never thought that I would actually make a business of? Oh, supplements. And I was like, literally, like, and I would talk to my dad, and he'd be like, I said to him, what was like, if you were going traveling, what would you take? What would be the one thing? He'd be like, oh, definitely my ashwagandha, definitely my reishi mushroom. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And he was like, but the only thing is, it's so annoying having to bring all these supplement bottles. And I was like, okay. I was like, me too. When I take my supplements, there's so many different capsules that I take because they're all different products. So I was like, there's a gap in the market for this. I was like, I am extremely passionate about natural ingredients and natural herbs and all these beautiful, like the historic and the ancient history of these ingredients is absolutely incredible. And in every Earth Secret product, and also obviously in the world. And, you know, I put them into these supplements, and I was like, this is going to be incredible. And I was passionate about that. And then Our Secret was born. And I mean, necessarily when you said at the start, did I realize what I was going into before? Not really. I literally just had a passion or a calling during that time frame, and I literally locked myself in my room, and I just was down on my laptop, and it was perfect timing as well with COVID.
Yeah.
You know, there was not many distractions. There were not this, so I only had this to focus on. And I believe I created the best supplement possible with the best ingredients, sustainable, ethical way that I could.
So how long has Our Secret been up and running?
We launched last June.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been 1 year in business around 2 months ago, but I originally came up with the idea and was in creation in 2020 in August.
Yeah, because you had how long between you came up with the idea and that you launched? Because I remember you locked in your bedroom doing everything. You had a laptop here, you had your note whiteboard up here with pages there of just like ingredients and trying to mix match. It was like what do you call it, Breaking Bad?
No, for real.
But how long was it from when you thought of the idea and until you launched?
So it was September 2020, and then I launched June 21.
Okay, so September 2020. From then to now, what would you say has been the biggest thing that you've learned personally?
Personally or business?
So Amy Peacock in September 2020 till now, what would you say? So both. I want to hear personal first though, and then what would you say business?
Honestly, I would say there's no such thing as mistakes if you learn by them. I think what I've learned is that I went head into this business literally knowing nothing, like absolutely nothing about business. I did business studies for GCSE.
Yes, but that's nothing. Let's find out what a financial statement of the local plumber is.
No, I know. So I think that, and I love the book, The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah, it's a really good book by Ryan Holiday, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an extremely helpful, and I think you gave me the book, Mid-Journey.
I think it was Dad gave me that, and it was a fantastic book,
Mid-Journey, I read that, and I was having some struggles with just, I don't know, like how I'm gonna like make this, like I knew it was gonna become a reality, but it was like, am I actually capable of doing that, you know?
Because even I remember there was loads of fits with you, as in like, Josh, like, is this gonna ever take off? Josh, why is this not working? I've put so much effort into this, but I'm not seeing traction yet and stuff.
No, that was definitely an imposter syndrome in a way as well. It's a massive thing, but it's something that I've now overcome, and it's because you go into this, you have no idea. I don't know about other people making a business, but when I was creating this business, I didn't really sometimes I had to kind of step back, like, what the hell am I doing? Could I be out partying with my friends? Could I, like, instead of this, am I wasting my 20s? Like that was one of the main things that was scary, was like, because I was 20 years old when I was creating this. I was like, what am I doing this for? And then those moments only last a brief second. And you're like, you look at something, you can get an email or something, and you can get your brand designs or whatever. And then you see like, shit, this is what I'm doing it for. Or for when we launched and I wasn't seeing so much traction, and I was like, hey, this was meant to be easy. Like I was like, this is meant to be like, you know, those YouTube videos you say, I scaled from 0 to 10K in the first month of launch.
6 days.
I literally was like, how are people doing this? And that's when it just kind of, it all came on, and I was like, and there was points where I thought, I was like, am I going to have to get a job? Like, am I going to get another job so I can actually pay for this? And like, I can just continue throughout this. And lucky enough, like there was, like we had to kiss a few frogs before we see the prince and princess. That's what I say, you know. Going through agencies, and like I said, I had no knowledge before starting this, so I'm gonna give a lot of advice for a founder in YouTube, their YouTube channel. They helped me so. Every time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I would have my laptop open or something like this, and I had to take 2 hours a day, and I would watch these e-commerce people. And it was absolutely incredible, because when I went to Geek Out, which is a bit like Affiliate World, last month in Barcelona.
What is it? It's an event in Barcelona?
Yeah, it's an event in Barcelona for a lot of e-commerce people, agencies, and I met my idol, Greta Van Riel. It was a really like surreal moment, because when you look up to someone and they teach you so much, and being able to be in the same room talking about both of our businesses up and running, it was so amazing. It was like, okay, wow.
Do you remember I sent you a text then? I was like, Amy, of course I'm proud of you and everything you've done, but I am so proud of you right now that you're hanging out with like your idols, and they give you a free ticket to some event, and you're like sending me things like, Josh, we're talking about email marketing and we're doing this. It's absolutely fantastic. And like, I know your network, I mean, what's the saying? Your network is your net worth. But it's so important to have such a good network. And I remember getting the photos of the selfies with you and Greta, and then there was a few other people you took selfies off of that, and I remember being like, okay, I'm really proud of my sister.
Yeah, you know, it was so nice, because I hadn't, again, it was COVID when I launched my business, and I didn't really surround myself. Like I was in my small town in Northern Ireland and with my friends, and it was kind of a moment where it was just, is this going to be a small business, micro business that, you know, I sell to my friends and family?
So many of your friends used to think that. They were like,
is this going to be an Etsy business?
It was like a little like, oh yeah, I run it out of my garage kind of business, but I think we're.
There was such an insult when they were like, oh, it's a little Etsy business. I was like, no guys, this is not going to be, this is literally, I'm going to be the global supplement. This is a multi-generational business that I want for my kids and stuff, and everyone would be like, okay, let's see this. And it was a real, I remember one of my friends was like, how are you going to start a business? Like, how are you going to start a business if you don't have a uni degree? And I was like, yeah, I know. And then it was very funny, because I was like, no, like I don't need a university degree to create my business. And I remember when we got featured in Vogue, that same friend texted me and was like, well done, I see you're up and running. I was like, yeah, this is a full kind of 180.
Yeah, I've had the exact same thing said to me. When was it? I was talking to a really close friend from back home that I hadn't talked to in a while. And I was telling them about one of our global clients. And I was saying, oh yeah, doing this. And they were like, oh, did you have any help like on the call for people to sit down with you? And I was like, no. They were like, well, how did you know how to talk? It's like, how did I know how to talk to another person about a business that I built, that I'm passionate about? Geez, I don't know. I don't know how I handle that one without holding somebody else's hand. And I think as well is people don't understand that, like me and you didn't go the university route, right? And I think that we have a passion for learning. Like we're constantly on YouTube, constantly on podcasts, constantly reading books. And again, I think it's a gift. We're addicted to learning. We always have. We were walking on the beach yesterday, and I was telling you how excited and happy I am that I have a small circle of friends now where we send each other business things. Like I got sent a proposal for one of my friends is sending to, he's starting a marketing agency for properties, and he sent me the proposal that they're sending to the Hilton, and asked me to have a read through it and stuff. And I was like, Amy, these are my friends. I get to see this, and then anytime I have something in terms of business, I send it to them, get there. It's just so important to have such a great circle around you. And I think we're really lucky as well, as in family as well. Dad's been in business for 30 plus years. He's like the wise businessman of like, it doesn't matter, because I'm in Manchester, there's like so many people that are making money here and they're making business here, and they're like, it just seems like everybody's making money right now. And then I'll come to Portugal and tell Dad about this and this idea and that, and he just grounds me straight away. He's like, Well, Josh,
takes you down,
he's just like, look, yeah, that's kind of like all fake money right now. You need to be in it for passion and you need to be in it for the long term.
Yeah.
And it's not somebody putting $5,000 into Bitcoin like 5 years ago. Now they've got $1 million. Like that's they haven't built up the business skills, the interpersonal skills, and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of skills, so obviously you've been up and running for a while. You were originally doing email marketing, Facebook ads, I think, as well. I'm currently about to start my own email newsletter. You're getting really annoyed because I keep on asking you so many questions about it. But what would you say, like give us some advice on sales funnels?
Yeah, so, well, when we started, again, I had no knowledge on anything else and kind of put money into agencies. And, you know, these agencies, I didn't know if they were making good returns or not. It's quite hard to like see when you're a new startup business and when you have agencies promising all these X, Y, and Z and you put this money in, you'll see this returns. So got rid of the agencies because they just weren't good. So I had to kind of I didn't want to put money into other agencies or other freelancers at this time. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it myself. So I invested some time again on Founder and different YouTube channels trying to figure out email marketing. And I actually, like when I started my email marketing funnels and flows with Our Secret, I seen more for return within 2 weeks than we had with our agency.
When you were doing them?
When I was doing them, than we did with 2 months. And it was crazy because I was also...
Why do you think that was?
Because they were designing emails in terms of kind of Americanized emails and stuff, and our client base is mainly UK and Ireland. Look, we are global business, but because it was also me talking from the heart.
I was gonna say, I would have thought in terms of an email's very personal.
Yeah.
It would have came a lot better from the founder, somebody who knows the inside outs of the business,
Yeah.
rather than an agency that you've given like the proposal of this is our mission statement, this is what we're about, this is that.
Yeah, they don't understand the real cause and mission behind it. So I guess that was the main thing. I seen so much more of a return. But email marketing is so important because you need to constantly be giving out emails. It can, for e-commerce, it's great for me because right now I'm generating revenue automatically throughout my email flows because they're sequenced up, they're automatically, someone purchases, of this.
How long did it take to get there?
So right now, probably... Well, we took on another agency there because it was taking up too much of my time around 3 months ago, and they're generating great results from us.
You're happy with them?
I'm happy with them, and I'm gonna, continue with them. They're gonna create newsletters for us, monthly campaigns, stuff like that. They're absolutely great, and you will know yourself because if you see the ROI, the amount you paid the agency in comparison to how much you're actually getting through revenue through email, you'll know yourself. But email is so important. It's so important. And now SMS is getting extremely important.
Really?
We're about to go, we're going to use Postscript, which is
What do you mean SMS? Like sending texts as like...
Yeah, what do you first do? So you are on your phone, you're about to check out or something like this, and your mom or like your friend calls you and you're like, okay, well, I forgot about that checkout. Are you gonna, when that person stops talking, are you gonna check your emails straight away? No. What you're gonna do if you get a buzz and you have your message, hey, you forgot this in your cart, here's 10% off. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, I forgot about this, because it's so it's so direct, it's so like up there, it's a notification, so it's amazing for...
I don't know if I'd like a text,
Well, actually, Dad, the other day, he was looking for his special shoes he gets. And
getting grounding shoes or flat shoes or
there was something like that, and we were in Sevilla, and he couldn't find them in the shop. So then he went onto Amazon. He was like, no, not Amazon. And he went onto the actual e-commerce store, and he filled in all the details, but he didn't check out. We obviously were getting lunch or something. And he just got a text. He was like, oh, Amy, they texted me. How did they text me? And then he's like, that's a good idea for a secret. And I was like, yeah, I know, because I hear all about that. Because it's about supply and demand. Yeah. Email now, the supply is getting less and all this stuff. But SMS is going through the roof. So we're going to invest into SMS after we see a really good return on email, which is great.
Yeah. Okay, so, and in terms of, so the example you just gave of Dad giving the text and you being like, oh, that would work for a secret. Do you find yourself doing that all the time? So especially in e-com, you go onto a store and like, instead of like, if I went onto the e-com store, I'd be like, okay, that's the product, nice. Do I want to buy it? Do I not? Back off, right? Yeah. Are you going through it being like, oh my God, look at that. That could be a nice gesture. Oh, add the basket and then the pop-up. What's the pop-up called to get you more stuff?
It's called the pop-up.
Nah, it's called when you have something in your checkout basket and then it comes up to try and get you to buy more.
Oh, an upsell.
Upsell, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've told me that as well.
Yeah.
So upsell, like, are you looking at things like this and be like, okay, we could then apply that to our secret? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I was gonna say, is it a blessing or a curse?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Like, I will go, obviously, because I want to buy some stuff on e-commerce stores, and I'm always like, wow, they're on Shopify. They're like, I always check what they're on, what they use, the plugins, and I always think it's so sneaky when like you add to cart or something, you see the pop up and they're trying to get you to more, and I'm like, smart, because sometimes it works. So yeah, I look at e-commerce, especially at Gymshark. Like, if I just want to buy some Gymshark clothes, their store is so, some people don't know, but it's the psychology that go beneath their store. Davey Fogarty, who's a great YouTuber, he has a whole thing that he just goes through Gymshark's website and compares them to what they were, I think, when they launched. Like, do you know when they launched?
Not long ago. Not long ago.
No, I think 2013, 2014.
That's not long ago to make $1 billion company.
Yeah, I know.
That's very quick.
It's crazy. Their whole story is nuts. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm going through their whole store, just looking at everything, being like, wow, the way it's designed and the way everything is just put there for a reason is, you wouldn't believe it. It's crazy. So yeah, I'm looking at them like, that's for a secret. I'll add this, I'll add that. And it's but that's amazing. Davey Fogarty, he's a great YouTuber as well. And I found him through Greta. I asked her if she knows any good YouTubers. And she pointed me in his direction, and he's been so helpful. He has a whole playlist on YouTube, making $1 million brand. So he literally takes you through step 0 to step actually selling out. So he literally goes through, right, trying to find a winning product. It's drop shipping, which, you know, is a different category than what our secret is. But he goes through one by one. Okay, find this, find out in Alibaba. Okay, got it. Let's do copywriting. Let's do the website. He has a whole course on ads, on Facebook ads, all this stuff, marketing. And it shows that he put it on TikTok and it's sold out. It's just crazy how you can, like, this is the creative, I cannot say that. strategic things that goes in the back of everyone's like minds. It's amazing to look at people and what they create, and like, you got a hat off to them. Like, well done. Everybody's on their own journey. It's incredible to see.
Yeah. Okay, right. So moving on to more of what I call it, business hacks, or like business tools. So, you know, for me, I'm obsessed with ClickUp. So for those who don't know, ClickUp is a productivity tool. I don't shut up about it to my friends back home, even if you're just doing personal goals, everything. I love ClickUp. Anytime I get like an idea or something, I try to put it in ClickUp, and then I try to systemize it in what way we can bring it to the business, what way we can involve the team, that kind of thing. Another thing I love is automation tools. I can set up automations to just put the actual manpower in. So for those who don't know, I own a recruitment company that specializes in SEO. Loads of recruitment companies are just the same. It's copy and paste of pick up the phone, ring as many people as you can, get somebody for the job, and so forth. We're now putting automation in, which is going to completely change the game. But in terms of, like, you know, I've got some software tools that do automations for me for like outreach, for just like you know, the video editor that I have that I use for my LinkedIn videos, where I'm able to take a video, you drag it in, it then transcribes it straight to text. So it'll have the text and the video. I can then select all. I can take away the gaps if I had any gaps while I was filming. I can take away the filler words like ums, buts, as, all of that stuff. Like, I'm just crazy about that. I'm just wondering what way, because obviously a supplement company is such a big company. There's loads of moving parts, I'm sure, with Facebook ads, with TikTok ads, with SEO, with everything. How do you keep systemized?
So I use Asana.
Okay.
Yeah, so Asana is one of the main tools. I know it's extremely popular around e-commerce people. Of course, ClickUp as well.
It's basically the same thing as ClickUp.
Yeah.
ClickUp, Monday.com, and like Asana, they're
Trello,
task management companies, and Trello, they're similar. They're just like different kind of displays and stuff.
Yeah, I think once you learn how to use each of these like tools and task managers properly, because there's so many different things you can do with them. And like for me, it took me a long time to actually get used to Asana and use its full capabilities that it offers.
100% agree.
Yeah, like it's got milestones, it's got like the timelines on it. It's absolutely incredible. So I use that I have so many different projects. Even when we're going to be launching new products soon, I have a whole separate project for that, and I'll just put in, like you said, notes, and then I'll go back and I'll try to arrange them and just like make them like, as easy and like easy to read, because you like, that's the worst thing as well. With pen and paper, I love pen and paper so much, but you can find it really hard to like flick back if you had a great call and you're writing things down, and you kind of can get lost in the paper. So what I do, if I go out, I have a really good call, I have some notes, I jot them quickly down on pen and paper, bullet points, and then I would put them all into Asana. I'd make appropriate task, I would assign it to our team, whoever needs to do it, and put due dates, and you can just get like a whole like overview of like, all right, cool, this task is happening on this date, but before this one happens, this is blocked by this needs to happen before this can happen. And it's a whole big timeline, and it's just so structured, and it makes like, when I feel quite overwhelmed with everything, it just means that I need to put everything on Asana. And when everything's on Asana, it's like, okay, great, now let's get going. But not all my team is on Asana, so I do use Slack. I use Rock, which is one that,
What's Rock?
Yeah, Rock is like another bit of Slack. We use that for our Amazon team, and then we also, we do that, and that's it. Because I would love to move our Slack team onto Asana, because Slack isn't really task manager. Slack's more like a messenger.
Yeah, it's just a communication
tool. So I would love, because I really, really do not like going through emails, because emails, you just get lost. They just get lost. And what if I feel like there's an important email and it's just down there? If it's on a Asana, assign it to me at the due date today, it will come up right in my inbox. I'll be able to see that, assign it off, done, So I think that's so important. Keep structured. And like, I know you said ClickUp, and I also use Obsidian. And you actually, I think it was you and Craig, your business partner, who brought Obsidian to me, and I was like, okay, this looks complex.
That's because, so basically, for people that don't know, it's like a note-taking app that's completely free, but you're able to use like code and HTML to like link everything and that. But there's like really professional people that do it, that are able to write these massive code things, do these massive mind maps, and not just like an interactive way to do it. Like, it's all just based on code, so you need to learn how to like do the actual back end of it and stuff. But I'm the complete same. I got so overwhelmed with it at the start, and I was like, no. So I used the simple approach and just used it as like another note taking thing. And then I was like, well, why wouldn't I rather just use notes? But now going back in, the fact that you could write something and then at the end link it to a word, and then it'll create its own folder to go back on it. It's a really, really good way of taking notes. Yeah,
so I use it for business and personal. When I was first approached to it and I seen that it was using code, I actually have a little bit of knowledge of HTML code due to Shopify and Liquid and stuff. So I was trying to see if like my brain could actually function with the coding aspect. But like you said, creating a word and then creating another folder, I started using it for personal notes. And that has changed the game for me. If I have like, it could be anything personal, and be like, all right, okay, we'll do this, we'll meet up next Friday, and then I'll just do something, and it creates like this beautiful graph. It's amazing, with like little strings coming attached to it, and it's like, it's what your brain looks like if you have like a thought, and then all the different thoughts that come after. It's so intelligent.
Obsidian's crazy. Another point to touch on, you said about in Asana, about how you need to like make it as simple as possible. That's one thing I learned. Well, I was gonna say I learned the hard way, but it wasn't that hard. But when I had ClickUp, it was all to do with me, because I was the only person using the ClickUp. So everything, so I had processes in there, and I thought it was all systemized out so well. But then when we brought on our first full-time employee, he was going through, and like things that I thought were so easy to follow, I was going back through, and I was like, do you know what? Like, I would need to know what that means to know where it is to do that. And I went through, and I must have spent maybe 3 or 4 days of making it as dumbed down as I could, as simple as I could. But yeah, and then in terms of, you mentioned having a team, right? What would you say your best lesson is on having a team? Because obviously you said that you've worked with agencies before, they haven't delivered, you've gone on to the next one. What would you say the best takeaway advice for that was?
Best takeaway advice is find the KPIs of what you're gonna get, because I know it's quite hard for agencies, especially in Facebook marketing and especially in email marketing. With a startup, it's hard for those companies to project a KPI because you're a startup. But it's so important to be able to actually go back and say, hey, so this is what you promised within the 30 or 60 or 90 days. Look, this is where we are. What can we do to help us get to this part? And I think that's what I learned over the times, over calls, over this with different agencies, is that a lot of them, the ones that weren't so good, were actually saying the right thing. We need more time. We need more time to be able to see this. We need more time to see if this testing and working. And you didn't know what was bluff and what was not. So the best advice is for me, for our company right now, we love freelancers, and you have to be passionate about what we're selling. I cannot bring somebody in who is, the complete opposite to our brand's mission, complete opposite to natural, and complete opposite to all these things. You have to actually, and you don't have to be constantly, you don't have to be like, oh my God, I love this stuff. I can't wait to do this. But just be like, take a step back, like, all right, you're actually helping people. Do you know what? I actually would feel better about my job and about my team, what I'm going to do if I help sell this to more people. And it's about creating a team. It's not about creating a job. Like, of course, jobs, but it's creating like an environment that you're so happy to get on calls and you feel like, God, that was such a great call. And you're like, I'm so excited. And I've been having those calls so frequent right now that I get off them and I'm like, do you know what? I love my team so much. I love the people I'm working with. I really like I love Napoleon Hill, the Law of Success.
Yeah.
And one thing is the mastermind, to be able to connect with more people in the same wavelength and know where you actually want to go with the business, and they know where they want to go. And when they're all connected, it's like, it's incredible. It's like determined knowledge is what he describes it. And it's like where you want your business to go. And when you have more than one person knowing that, it's incredible. So teamwork, passion, and just communication skills is so important. Like, especially if you've just onboarded someone and they're not replying within 1 to 2 days, that is a big red flag for me. Yeah, they may be busy and everything, but you've just took the decision to actually take them in and stuff. And communication is such a must, especially for a business owner. Like, of course, the business owner is so much different things to do, but it's taking the time out of the day to talk to you, to say, hey, what can we do? What can you do? Yourself with your whole business is communication, and I can see you also getting so great with your communication skills. Like, it's amazing. So yeah, they're the main things we look at anyone coming on, and you got to be friendly, you got to be nice. It's like, it's a tribe. We call our team as tribe. Like, we're a passionate tribe of like-minded warriors who just want to make a better way of living for most people. So it's a very natural approach, I think, that we take on to people. We give them a job, but they also they join us. It's like a family.
I yesterday did a 5-minute ice bath, and I put up a video on my Twitter. So I use my Twitter for business. And I put up a tweet saying, well, the next time we expand the team at SEO for Hire, I think I'm going to start doing interviews in the ice bath, right? Because I feel like in the ice bath, you'll find out what kind of foundations you're built on, what kind of who you're made of, what your character's like.
Be hard.
And then somebody replied on it today. It was like, I'm sure there's a law against this. I was like, there probably is. So maybe I'll have to keep it to like maybe the day out, the family team building kind of thing. But yeah, okay, so going forward, you're going to Thailand on the 17th, right? Remote working is a massive thing right now. We have the luxury of both being able to do that, travel wherever. I'm moving to Tenerife in October, which is fantastic. Working remote, so obviously Dad doesn't think it's a good idea at all for us to, we went, not as in terms of working remote, but when we kind of go to cafes and things like that, he just doesn't think that there's, you have the discipline.
So I can also agree with him in that. I know he said this today when we went to a cafe. So I've been working in co-working spaces since last year, and I remember my productivity went through the roof. I think it's about getting into a routine of getting your own dedicated desk. You're literally surrounded by like-minded people who are there. It's different if you go to a working cafe, but if you go to a cafe where there's kids running about, there's families over there, that's not the right environment. Yeah, okay, you could be in the flow state, but again, your environment is it's going to affect your productivity, of course. So going to a co-working space, I love it so much now. So that's why I'm so excited for Thailand, Chiang Mai.
Co-working spaces are fun. I really like them.
Right, and you meet so many cool people. I've met so many nice people. You met your business partner in a co-working space.
Well, I met a business partner on a beach, but it was technically through the co-working space.
Yeah.
But I have so many friends. I've got 2 Venezuelan friends. One of them owns his own hedge fund in Salt Lake City that's now in Tenerife, that he's offered me an office and screens when I go out there. I've got friends that we've done business with from that we've done podcasts with. All sorts. So I always say exactly what you said. You go into a co-working space, and yes, this would be Dad's point, you should be going in there to work, but I think the networking aspect of going in there and being able to talk to people who are also, I'm 23, you're 22, young people that have set up businesses and they've had this struggle and they've had that, and then instead of I just think that somebody who's on maybe the same path as you or the same kind of journey as you, you just vibe so much more with them. You have so much more problems that you can talk about. What about this? How did you deal with it a bit more that way? And I just think it's a better way to bounce off people, and I think it's a fantastic way of meeting people. So that's one thing. Like, I've already been looking at loads of co-working spaces in Tenerife. I don't go till like a month and a half's time, and I'm getting excited. I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. That's where I want to go. That's where I want to meet people.
Yeah, I had to actually buy a load of our, bring a load of our stock from our secret, our fulfillment center, to Barcelona, because I was selling it so much to my co-workers in my space, because they would ask me what I would do, and of course I'm so passionate about it, so I just talked. They're like, I want to get some of this stuff, and I was like, yeah, well, you can buy it off the thing, the website and stuff, but I have some stock here if you just transfer the company. And it was so amazing because I got so many, and they were like, Amy, I love this stuff, and I was like, this is great. And like, so Thailand, I'm a bit nervous because I'm gonna go over there, people are gonna ask me what I do, I'm gonna tell them, they'll be like, oh, I want some stuff, and I was like, okay, now this could be a bit tricky.
Shipping's expensive.
I was like, this could be a bit tricky how I'm gonna get my secret into your hands. But I was like, if you ever go back to Europe or even the US, no problem, we can ship to you.
Yeah. I know from knowing you back when we were living in Banbridge, work-life balance, you would get frustrated quite a lot. Tell me if I'm wrong, but you get frustrated quite a lot because you were putting so much effort in your business, because you were in a startup phase, you weren't seeing the results that you wanted straight away and stuff. And then you were like, okay, people are going out partying and they're doing this. Now you're able to travel, you're able to go out with friends and stuff like that, but in terms of like the work that you're putting in, you're starting to see results, you're starting to see traction. Would you say that's got a really good benefit on your work-life balance? Like, how do you manage work-life balance?
This is a tricky question, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm 22 and I'm surrounded, especially when I was living in Barcelona, I was surrounded,
Barcelona's full of distractions.
I was placed in the party hub, and with so many surrounding people, friends going out and stuff. But I can tell you now, I think I survived the work-life balance. And I think when I was put into such a distracting area, I am so proud of myself that I really, took the time. I was like, no, do you know what? I'm sacrificing this so that when years to come and stuff, that I can be like, I'm so happy I put the graft in now, because I don't want to. And at the end of the day, what those distractions are is short-term pleasure, long-term pain. Yeah. And I always, if I did go partying, the next day I would be like, or a couple of days, it would take me 3 or 4 days to actually fully recover. And it does, because your head is fuzzy from alcohol anyway. Like, it is.
Well, that's the saying. You go out on a Saturday, you're hungover on the Sunday, you're feeling kind of miserable on the Monday, you're feeling okay on the Tuesday, starting to feel better on the Wednesday, and then it's Thursday, then it's Friday, then it's repeat. No. So many people are in that where they just do that every week, day
exactly.
in, day out.
And I couldn't afford to go Monday that my head wasn't in my business, because I am the only person who can move my business forward. And if I'm struggling, then my whole team is going to be struggling, and the results will be struggling. So personally, I don't think I actually realized how much effort and how much percentage of my brain I should actually be using on my business until 7-8 months ago. And then I think that's also a maturity thing. When you get older and you're pushed into this, like, you're not pushed, you're voluntarily pushed into this, and it can be so overwhelming. You always, like, you will think, you're like, I could be doing this. Look at my friends always having fun with this. Look at this. I'm in the office till 9 p.m. and I'm not seeing any results. And that is the building of the character, because that is when you don't see any results. There's no dopamine hits. There's no Shopify sale. There's no like all this like lovely, great cotton candy stuff. And it's just you putting this work in and having all these distractions around you, and it's only you who can make the decision to actually move forward with this, or you can halt it and you can give in to the FOMO, you can give in to the partying, and you can go with your friends, all this. Are you going to regret it? Probably. If you're not, go for it. This life isn't for you. And this is why I love obstacle is the way, because when you go through these like big obstacles and you're like, shit, what am I going to do? Am I going to just fall? No, the obstacle is the way. Nurture it. Be like,
everything
I'm great.
Is the obstacle, is the way. There's a meaning for everything that happens to be like a roadblock. Just keep on.
Just keep going. And I mean, I am so goddamn happy I did that. Yeah. Because I am so goddamn proud of myself. The way that I went through Portugal to Barcelona to now being so focused on my work. And I always say to people, if I'm like out in the weekends, like the beach and something, I'm like, I'm so excited for Monday. And they're like, why? I was like, because I get to work on my baby again. I get to actually go to the office, do something I absolutely adore. And I do say this to my friends. I'm like, guys, I do like say a lot, like how excited I am. But like, it's not always this, it's not always that. It's because if I don't have this mindset, then you can get so deep into the negatives of having a business, which is very low. It's very high risk, high risk reward. But you know, like yourself as well, you've sacrificed a lot, and it's just being able to look at the long picture, look at the future. Who are you doing this for? Like, ask yourself, who are you doing this for? And if you don't say for yourself, for your future, for your family, for your whole life, like, we could talk about the rat race as well, and that I don't want to be stuck in an office with a job I hate, 9 to 5. That sends shivers down my spine. It really hurts me. And like, some people are happy doing that, and I don't want to disrupt their fantasy whatsoever. Go for it, do that. But this is the journey I want to go on. This is the journey we want to go on. I want to have financial freedom, be able to support me and my family, and live comfortably and help people while I do it. Like that's amazing. Yeah,
I 100% agree. One thing that I think is quite odd is sometimes when let's say I'm placing a candidate in for a client, and I go through their CV or the LinkedIn profile, and I see they've been a founder or they've been a CEO, and it's like, okay, I used to just draw them off, being like, okay, they're not a viable candidate for this. Sometimes it doesn't work out for people. Some people go in and they dip their toes in it, and then they're like, oh my God, there's so much more than just, being able to travel, having a bit of money, being your own boss, getting to choose times. There's so much more that goes into it, which is crazy. But I 100% agree about looking forward to Mondays, especially now. For a while, my business, it just took a lot to like get going. But now, because we're getting through so much progression each week, and we're going through so much business development, it's like I happily go to the cafe on Saturday and Sunday and work through stuff and get like admin kind of done, or the stuff that I don't want to do on block work, and then I plan my day for the week, and it's like I get so excited for that. I think we're extremely lucky.
With a nice latte beside, I don't know.
An iced latte with a bit of maple syrup. That's
and it's just like it feels like my friends by Jungle Beach, and I'm like, I actually would really prefer going to sandwiches in Barcelona, getting an iced coffee with my laptop.
And iced coffees in there are so strong that blow your head off.
Exactly, so you get so much more done.
Exactly. Okay, Amy Peacock. So, can you define success for you?
Yeah, that's a deep question. I guess happiness, being happy where I am, being happy with who I'm surrounded with, being happy with my business, being happy with financial freedom, being happy with my family. I think all of this just leads up to happiness. I mean, right now I'm extremely happy, and I know as time progresses I'm only going to get happier, which is a great thing to be, because I'm excited for it. Right now I'm the happiest I've ever been, and it's always getting better. Success for business wise is, I want to be the choice that people go to. I want the supplements. I actually said to, like, I don't know if I said it to you, my friends, but what real business success for me is, I'm going to go across the whole world, right? And I'm going to be in an airport, and I'll be out with my suitcase, out with this, and someone beside me, they're going to take their purse out, and they're going to have cam or secret. They won't know I exist beside them, and they're going to take it, and I'll see that, and I'm like, wow.
Can I have one?
I was like, can I have one? And I feel like that is amazing. Seeing something that was merely a thought, an idea, just come to fruition and come to reality,
cool.
and helping people. And it's just, and I want this to be multi-generational. I want to help people so much, and I want to help my kids to feel this, what I'm feeling. Like, they don't have to, of course, but I want the success of just being able to do what you want to do, being able to be happy with what you want to do, and also financial freedom, the ability to choose, hey, I want to do this, I want to go here, and not worry about the any financial burden that you have. Just being able to choose something, and like, that is just incredible. And there's so much, that's the most exciting part. I don't really know what success is for me right now. I'm so young. I have no idea. And as I get older, I'm so excited for the other lessons I'm gonna learn, because I just love life. I just love the lessons I've been taught myself, my family, you, and watching you grow. And watching us both grow is absolutely amazing.
Like, well, I think we're so lucky, because I was talking about this with one of my friends back in Manchester a month ago, that life is so exciting. Like I'm 23, you're 22. We've done so much. We've traveled so much. We've lived in like 5 different countries. Like since we left the nest at 18, right? And like not to talk bad about it, but I've so many friends that went through university, didn't know what they wanted to do, still don't know what they do. Now they're in X amount of debt and they're coming out and they were promised a graduate job and now they can't get a job. We lived in Sydney for a year, we've lived in Portugal. It's so funny how we've lived in the same places. Not all at the same time, like we've kind of just followed each other. But we lived in Sydney, we've lived in Barcelona, we've lived in Portugal. I'm going to Tenerife, you're going to Thailand, I'm going to the Caribbean after. Like we're trying to learn as much as we can like at a young age. We have such a nice circle around us. We're able to pick up the phone and like example I used earlier, I'm able to ask you for an example on email marketing. You asked me for like 3 opinions on my opinion today on whatever it was you were doing with our secret, and it's such a lovely environment to be in, and the fact that we're brother and sister as well is lovely. Like I made the joke to you maybe 2 years ago. I was like, yeah, Amy, not gonna lie, I didn't really like you for a long time because you just used to like annoy me and do that. But like now I love you to bits. You're one of my best friends. Like I go to you all the time. Everybody's always so surprised at how close we are. You're best friends with my best friends. Like like when I was living in Barcelona, I had a small group of best friends there. Then I moved away. They're now your best friends as well, which is it's crazy. But look, I've got 2 questions that I want to ask everybody at the end of the podcast. So number 1. Try and keep it a bit short if you can, because we're over an hour now. But best book you've ever read. Doesn't have to be business, doesn't have to be personal. Best book you've ever read that you would recommend to anybody listening to this. I think I know what it is. Okay,
so that's such a hard thing to do because can I have 2? So personal and business.
Okay, go.
Okay, so personal is going to be The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer.
My favorite as well.
It's an incredible book that I read for the first time. I didn't understand it, and I kind of grew myself.
It's literally the book that you keep reading and keep learning more things about you. But I think I'm on read it maybe 18 times now, and it's such an easy book to read. I literally recommend this to everybody to read.
But I think the starting book for that is The 4 Agreements.
Yeah.
I think The 4 Agreements start, and if you've never...
Don Miguel.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then for business, for me, that changed my thing was, the obstacle is the way, but also Asking It Is Given by Abraham
Is that
Hicks.
business?
For me, it helped my business.
Okay, fair.
You know, I think the power of your mind, the power of being able to create your reality, your own, and I created my own by thinking about my business. And that was Asking Is Given. And I mean, also 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's
great book.
I think
that's Dad's favourite book, isn't it?
Yeah, because he forced us to read it when we were both 12,
14, 15, which is a great thing to read, but at the time it was like, Dad, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? No thanks.
Yeah, no, he made us read 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens.
I was just going to say, Harry, our younger brother, who's now 15, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a pocket-sized one upstairs. I just said when I came to Portugal, I seen it the other day, and it's 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens in a little like pocket book, which is just
I
so
remember
funny.
reading it. Yeah. How about you? What's your favorite?
I think again, Untethered Soul is my favorite book in terms of personal. I think right now I'm reading Whale Hunting by Tom Sarcy, and it's it uses the metaphor of how the Inuits used to hunt whales. They used to give everything. They used to risk their lives to hunt whales that came once a year to the village. Everybody in the village had a specific task, but they could have just hunted caribou and seals, which would have fed them for weeks, but they wanted the whale because that fed them for the year. It then takes that and uses it metaphorically on how you can apply that to modern day business. So going after whales that are going to feed you for a year, not just going after the smaller agencies that are going to keep you ticking, which they're equally important, but I'm having so much fun with it. I love the metaphor. Craig's sick of hearing it. My friends are sick of hearing it. I have a whole thing in ClickUp about how to sew the whale's mouth shut, how to hunt the whale, beach the whale, all of this stuff, which are all the metaphors on like how to actually go out and get those big whale companies. So for example, we partnered with Sage 3-4 months ago. That's our whale company. That's going to bring in a lot. So we want to keep on going after whales like that. I think I'm really enjoying that at the minute. But at the minute I'm reading by Mark McCormick. It's called What They Don't Teach You in Harvard Business School. and it's a fun book. Like honestly,
Yeah,
I had
read
it maybe a week ago and I've nearly done it, and it's just little ticks off of like how to work your way in sales, negotiate things, do stuff like that. I really like it.
Yeah.
But
I also have Contagious by Jonah Berger if you want to get into marketing or anything and how to learn the psychology.
yeah, I haven't read that.
Oh, it's amazing. The psychology
Have you got
of like, I have it back in Ireland.
Oh.
But it's all about selling, how the psychology of people, and also Victor Kayan, How I Bought the Company. You know that one?
Yeah, I do.
That was Dad's first book
First
he read,
book
I think.
yeah.
I read it and I was like, wow, it's years old, but it's still it's still
Okay, Amy, you're sitting across your handsome brother, right?
Yes.
You see me. Let's repaint that. You see 18-year-old Amy Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give her?
Wow. 18. I was in Sydney.
Were you 18 when we were in Sydney?
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah, I was 18 when I first went to Sydney.
So you moved to Sydney when you were 18 by yourself?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I keep on forgetting that you were 18. I was 19, was it?
Yeah.
Mad.
Honestly, I think those Australian years, my advice would be don't compare yourself to others. Don't try to change yourself and who you are to fit in with the crowd or the general public, because it's just going to cause you unhappiness. But then again, if I gave that advice, I learned it over the years, you know, but just then that would probably, definitely, you know, and I think that's what younger, especially girls, go through when they're younger. They dress to impress, to like be this image that we see of the perfect woman, the perfect person, all this stuff. And I think, no, fuck that.
I love it. Right, Amy, thank you for being my first guest on the Passionate Pursuit podcast. I think this has been fantastic. It's been great. I'll leave all your socials, all our secret in the description below. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I think this podcast is going to be absolutely amazing because the Passionate Pursuit is only getting bigger. So thank you so much, Josh.